Hello, brothers and sisters. Welcome, welcome. Today is day 5 of workshop. I'm sorry, day 5 of conference and day 4 of workshop. Thank you so much for coming in. This is the Jesus workshop. If you're in the wrong workshop, maybe now is the time to switch. But anyways, thank you so much for joining us and for being here. My name is Arlene May Alegre, or just Arlene is fine. I'm from SFC Hawaii. So all my Hawaii peeps, what's good? If you've ever been to Hawaii or want to go to Hawaii, make some noise. What's up? What's up? To be completely honest, I am not musically inclined at all. My counterpart was kind of just like, well, we need a facilitator for this, so you're the last one. We need you. So I was like, okay, sure, whatever. But I did practice one little bit that I can. This is my bit that I'm going to share with you. Hopefully, our speakers that are on here who can hear me, I just want to be part of your clique. You know what I mean? So this is my. Okay, ready? My dog has three. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyways, on a serious note, everyone, thank you so much for being here. I'm just going to read you guys a quick description of the workshop. So, give thanks to the Lord on the harp, on the 10-stringed lyre, offer praise. Psalm 3:3-2. Playing the guitar is a way to pray not just with our hearts, but but also with our bodies and talents. If you are a beginner, we will have a practical lesson with techniques and approaches to get you started on your musical journey. If you're experienced, we will have an advanced session to help us take the next step. In both sessions, we will play together, pray together, and give our worship to the Lord. Amen, amen. As we move on, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our speakers. So we are very fortunate today to have two brothers join us. I want to first introduce you to a brother that many, if not many of you know, all of you know, probably, you know. It was very hard to book him because he's booked and busy via his manager. But anyways, this brother we all know, Patrick Cornell, he is a full-time pastoral worker for CFC Southern California. He grew in guitar and worship, first by playing guitar for his parents' CFC household. Initially, his relationship with God was grown through his experiences in worship and music ministry. This is why his favorite service is music ministry. And also, we do have another brother joining us who will do the advanced workshop. And we went through great heights looking for this brother, y'all. Like, we had so many rejections trying to find a spot for this, and we finally found, and our prayers have been answered for the perfect person to fit this part. We have Brother Eman Espino. He is a mission volunteer for Northeast B. Give it up for Northeast B. He's been playing and singing since he was young and currently pursuing his music production degree. When the Rubik's Cube finally got boring to him, he learned how to play guitar. From playing for his first household to playing for conferences, he strives to reflect God's glory through music. So without further ado, let's put our hands together or our instruments together for our brothers, Pat and Emma.
Woo! Thanks, Arlene, for that awesome intro. Real quick, I think let's thank, for those who don't know, Arlene and Mark Jade have been the ones behind the organization of now 4 days straight of workshops. They've been up every day for the last 4 days. Mark Jade's in New York. He's up till 1:30 every day, so good job. This has been awesome. Welcome to the last workshop. We want everybody to get comfortable. Number one, get your instrument, your guitar. You need it. Ronnie, where's your guitar? Everybody grab your guitar. If you don't have one, that is okay. There is still stuff to learn, but it's really important that even if you do have a guitar somewhere in your house, even if you're uncomfortable with it, go get it. This is a time to get used to that guitar. But if you don't have one, I think there's still some things you can take away from it. So before we start touching or playing the guitar, we're going to do some stretches. So I'll pass it to Eman. He's got some expert stretches.
Expert stretches. All right. So I guess before we even stretch, let's just shake out our hands. I said this last time. I know nothing about muscles or anything. I just learned this through like drumline. Kind of use the same muscles maybe. So I guess a tool you might need for one of our stretches is something like a drumstick. Something maybe like I don't know, like a screwdriver even would work. Like this thing. a pencil, a strong pencil. You might break like a regular old wooden pencil, possibly, but good luck with that, Pat. So I guess for to start off, we won't need that, but we're gonna take our arm. We're gonna stick our arm straight out. We're gonna face our palm forward, and we're gonna just pull on this as much as you can. Don't hurt yourself. I'm just gonna count to 10, like in gym class. 1, 2, 3,
Two,
4,
three,
5,
four,
6,
five,
7,
six,
8,
seven,
9,
eight,
10.
9, 10.
It's
Oh,
weird.
yeah.
I hear Pat delayed, so it's like we're counting like 1, 2, 3, 1, 4, 2, 5, and then same with the right hand. 1, 2, 3,
2,
4,
3,
5,
4,
6,
5,
7,
6,
8,
8,
9, 10.
9, 10. Jump shot.
Yep. And then we're gonna go down this time. Here we go. 1, 2, 3,
2,
4,
3,
5,
4,
6,
5,
7,
6,
8,
7,
9,
8. Farther.
10. Oh, that's scary. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
2, 3,
2,
4,
3,
5,
4,
6,
5,
7,
6,
8,
7,
9,
8,
10.
9,
Side note, if that
10.
hurts you, if your fingers start going numb, that's a sign of carpal tunnel. Be careful, please. But now we're going to take our sticks or screwdriver or something. We're going to hold it kind of in front of us like this. And we're going to let go of one. We're going to have our arm regularly out, and your stick or whatever is going to be pointing at. We're actually going to pull this back around. So your arm's going to twist kind of crazy like, and go as far as you're comfortable with. And just put pressure, and we're going to count 1, 2, 3,
2,
4,
3,
5,
4,
6,
5,
7,
6,
8,
7,
9,
8,
10.
9, 10.
And
Oh, ow.
ooh, yeah, that's scary. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other hand. 1, 2,
1,
3,
2,
4,
3.
5, 6.
You try to get your shoulder out of its
8,
socket.
9, 10. Ooh. And make sure you're fine. This just in. These stretches are for our flexors and extensors, flexors, and the twisty ones are for our flexors. Cool.
Oh,
Now we're
thank
gonna
you,
do.
PTs of the world.
Now we're gonna do this arm stretch. We know this one. 1, 2, stretch it out. 3,
Oh, yeah.
4, 5. Oh yeah.
From my
6,
varsity basketball days, wink.
9, 10. Yeah, from my NFL days, I remember that. Way long ago. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pop your shoulder back
10.
in. Shake it out, I guess. Yeah. Cool.
All right. Good evening, East Coast. All right, so next one, you got to get your instrument. Grab your guitar or ukulele or etc. But please do grab that guitar. What we're going to do is we want everybody to start getting comfortable playing it. This is a very interactive workshop, and so we got to get comfortable jamming together. So what we're going to do is pick your favorite chord or sound. If you don't know chords yet, that's okay, but just pick a string, pick a note, and we're going to play it together all at the same time. Ready? Just pick one, anyone. If you don't have a favorite one, that's okay. Just pick one on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Let it ring. Beautiful. Keep going. Louder, louder. All right. Now, next one, we're going to teach you why this workshop is named Jesus. Because there's the different notes, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and there's the G chord. And when you add a certain note, somebody messaged me last time, I forgot what note it was, but when you add a certain note, it makes the chord a sustained chord, for short, S-U-S. So there is an actual chord named Jesus, or, it sounds a lot like Jesus. So, there, yeah, Emon has the chord sheets if you can read that. If not, we'll learn that later. But if you don't know, just look for the G string. 1, 2, 3. There's a G string on there. We're going to play this at the same time so that we can welcome the sound of Jesus. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Louder. Amen. Yes. Welcome. Jesus has now filled our respective rooms, the chord, and also the Savior. And lastly, one more exercise to get us comfortable. I watched the Mr. Rogers movie. And Mr. Rogers, a very happy man with a beautiful legacy, also a good piano player. And in the movie, a happy man playing piano, and there was this part where he did the piano equivalent of going, just hit these keys, and he said, you need to have, sometimes you have to let out that frustration. You know, life isn't always perfect and good, and so you have to let it out. And I think that's such a beautiful way to approach and understand the gift of music and instruments. We can really channel some of the things that are heavy on us. So before we go into this workshop, let's take a moment to think about how you feel coming into tonight. Maybe you're exhausted from a long week, from a long month, from the last months of quarantine, or there's a lot of things have been going on. Whatever it is that you're feeling, maybe you're just tired, sleepy, it's late. Whatever we're feeling, we'll just breathe and then we'll just let it out. So you don't have to play necessarily correct notes, but just to sort of strum it out into the guitar and let that whatever you're feeling ring out, okay? So no need to play necessarily real chords. In fact, don't play real chords. We want to make it sound a little messy. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, breathe in, and then just let it out. One more, breathe in, and just let it out. Come on. COVID. There we go, see? Feels a little better. And that is, I hope we're feeling a little more comfortable, and we're feeling comfortable to make mistakes, because that's what we want this workshop to be, this Zoom space, to be a place where we can really feel comfortable so that we can go out of our comfort zone, even if it means messing up a little bit, even if it means, doing things we're not used to. So we're going to ask a question. Okay, wait, let me change. There we go. Okay, we're going to ask a question. It's, are you comfortable playing guitar for worship? If you are, yes and amen, then please rename yourself. Put an A in front of your Zoom name. And if not yet, and God willing, soon you will be, then rename yourself with a B in front of your name. So this is for later, because we'll break out into a advanced section, and then those who are more starting out with guitar. Just be real honest about this, maybe to help draw the line better. For the beginner room, we'll be going over strumming and chord changing. And so if you're already really comfortable with strumming, with chord changes and things, then perhaps to check out the advanced room, just to put yes and amen, to put that A in front. But if you're still, need to grow in the chord changes or learn the chords or strumming or just the guitar in general, then put that B in front of your name. And God willing, this workshop will all be able to learn a bit more that will help us for worship. Some goals that we have. Well, for myself, I think one thing I'm really hoping that everybody can take out of this, I felt most fully alive during this quarantine when I had to learn something new. In my case, that was broadcasting. I had to learn a lot of live streaming software because ministry was online. And I got really excited every time I learned something new. Oh, you can do that with streaming? Oh, you can make, things appear and stuff. And I kept getting more and more excited about the new things I would learn. And so I'm hoping that from today's workshop, there's something new that you learn about guitar, about this instrument, about your talents and gifts that excites you or makes you curious to keep learning more. And that in doing so, you would feel more fully alive. How about you, Eman?
Yeah, honestly, just exactly what you said, with like trying to get something that really interests you, to dig deeper in that. Something that I've really needed to learn is how to really seek that excitement and everything, and like what makes something unique. And really seeking, in terms of this instrument of the guitar, digging deep into what everything is. Like, this guitar is made of strings, it's made of wood, it's made of maybe electronics inside, and why do we like the sound of this instrument? Why do we like playing this instrument? And really finding what makes us, so attracted to playing this or longing and wanting to learn how to play it. And really seeing like all the complexities of this instrument and what makes it the guitar. Seeing the purpose and the beauty of it in this community and worship. And even, I guess if you want to get like super deep, like the purpose of the guitar in our lives, even. But just really seeking that excitement to continue to drive us to learn more about it and to keep learning.
Amen. And so, as you continue to rename yourselves, we do want, uh, like what Eman said, to help us to find some more of that purpose and awe and wonder in this instrument and in music in general. So we're going to have a little short mini talk about this instrument and music. But what we ask is that for you to hold your instrument the whole time. So whether that's in your lap or whatever, but this should become as comfortable as a pillow. So please get used to holding it for 10 minutes as we give this talk. Sometimes I even fall asleep on the floor with my guitar in hand. So get used to just holding your guitar at all times. So we're going to go through this talk real quick, and it is finding Jesus and Jesus within the guitar. So why music, right? And how is it that we can find Jesus within the guitar? Well, it led me to read into the Catholic faith and what the Catholic faith is taught about music in general. And so it led me to Pope Benedict. When he wrote this, he was still a cardinal, and he wrote this thing called Excerpts, or The Spirit of the Liturgy. Here's some excerpts from it. He says, the importance of music in biblical religion is shown very simply by the fact that the verb to sing or song, etc., is one of the most commonly used words in the Bible. Sing occurs 309 times in the Old Testament and 36 in the New. And then he goes on to write, when man comes into contact with God, mere speech is not enough. Areas of his existence are awakened that spontaneously turn into song. Indeed, man's own being is insufficient for what he has to express. And so he invites the whole of creation to become a song with him. When man comes into contact with God, your speech is not enough. And so then Pope Benedict quotes from Psalms, King David saying, awake, my soul, awake. Oh, harp and lyre. Harp and lyre, that's the old school string instrument before they invented guitars. So that was him referencing the beauty of stringed instruments back then. And he says, I will awake the dawn. I will give thanks to you, O Lord, among the peoples. I will sing praises to you among the nations. For your steadfast love is great to the heavens, your faithfulness to the clouds. And what really sticks out to me about this, did a little bit of research, and Psalms, this Psalm specifically was written around 1058 BC. That's 3,000 years ago. People were using stringed instruments to praise God 3,000 years ago until now. And what also was crazy, I did a little more research. Somebody referenced this to me a couple of years ago, and I re-researched it for this. And this is from Oxford History of Western Music, and it says the history of notated music begins 1,000 years ago with chants written for services of the early Roman Catholic Church. That's known now as Gregorian chant because it was put together by Pope Gregory the Great. And it says that notated music started in medieval times when the only music that was being written down was for the church. Most, if not all, secular music during this time was passed on via oral tradition. And so you can see this is this is like 1500, 1400, and there's even predating musical notation to that the musical staff, and for those who know a little bit of music theory, that stuff originated because of church music, was the first music to be written down and notated. And so to me, what is so mind-blowing is that the church was the birthplace of musical sheets and stuff, like this, it was born in our Catholic Church. The passing on and sharing of music 3,000 years ago it was happening, it's unequivocally human. Secondly, that it is incredibly Catholic. So let's make some music, amen? And so we can make music in so many ways. Why the guitar? There are so many beautiful instruments and different sounds in the world. When I thought about this, preparing for this, I got stuck on the slide because I was like, you know what? I don't know. I don't know why I ended up playing guitar, what makes it special. I kind of really like piano. And I realized I picked guitar because at one point I started playing drums. I got really interested in drums. And then I realized the drummer is in the back. And I want to be in the front where I can be seen and in the spotlight. And so I switched back to guitar. That's really why, honestly, that superficial reason is why I've got a guitar in my lap right now. I think that, there are so many different reasons that maybe you have a guitar right now. Maybe you just borrowed it from a friend or et cetera. You were interested, curious, maybe superficial reason like me. But here's what I want to acknowledge us being here in this workshop today. You, just like me, have somehow found your way to that guitar for some reason. And since it's with you, and since we can make music with it, this beautiful Christian, Catholic, and human thing, let's take some time to understand what makes the guitar special. So what makes it special? Well, again, I had to do some research, and so I Googled it, and just wanted to go through this real quickly. Some really cool notes about the guitar. One, versatility. Wide repertoire of guitar music in every genre. Take a second to think of all the different styles of music you can play with guitar: classical finger picking style, blues, rock, jazz, funk, reggae, etc., etc. The acoustic guitar can be used for percussion at the same time, right? Those videos of people also playing drums on the guitar. There is also such a range of tone and sounds. If you have ever seen a classical guitar with nylon strings, sounds way different than a guitar, electric guitar. Right? There is so much different tone, sounds, versatility with the guitar. And so there is this whole world that opens up to you just by learning this one single instrument. Number two, visual patterns. What I mean by this is that you can learn one guitar shape for a chord, such as the bar chord, and you just move it around and it's the same. It's still making chords, right? There are shapes in the guitar. Secondly, with scales, you learn a scale and you can move that anywhere because it's the same shape. And so you'll find that I've found that a lot of good guitar players, sometimes I'll ask them and they'll say, I don't know how to read music, like sheet music. But they're really good guitar players. And I think it's because that's a common thing with guitar, because they've learned through shapes and sounds, not through actual music theory or anything. So if you're a visual learner and you have a guitar, I think there is good reason and maybe divine providence that this is an instrument suited for you to learn. It's a very visual, shapes-based instrument. Thirdly, polyphonic. The guitar is a polyphonic instrument. Just like the piano can play more than one note at a time, right? Guitar can also play more than one note at a time. Think about a saxophone, right? You can only play one note at a time. Same with our voice, right? You can't sing two voices out of your vocal cords. And so monophonic versus polyphonic, there's so much more possibilities. I know an a cappella singer, and he says the guitar is like having 6 little a cappella singers available to you to tell them what to do. So you can really make a ton of different layered and dynamic sounds. 4, speed of usefulness. To become proficient at guitar, definitely, you have to practice, you have to put serious time in. But with that being said, it's also an instrument that is open to just when you learn a few basic chords in that time frame that it takes, you are able to play and accompany a ton of songs, right? Have you ever played the 4-chord game and you're just singing along to a ton of songs can fit? So if you can just learn 4 chords immediately, it's useful. You can already start to join into it, to jamming and songs, etc. Number 5, accessibility and learning. This actually applies to a ton of things now because of the advent of YouTube and technology, but especially guitar. There's so many lessons online, like professional guitar teachers who put their stuff out there for free. So it is really easy to find resources and to learn more about it. 6, singing and playing, because you don't have to breathe, right? Unlike saxophone, how you're supposed to sing and also play that at the same time. If you're a beatboxer, I put it for you. You can't do it at the same time, right? But because we don't have to worry about our breathing, a lot easier. Also, a note on singing and playing, the volume of the acoustic guitar does not overwhelm the human voice, right? Unlike if you try to sing right next to somebody playing trumpet, they're gonna blow out your voice, right? It's so much louder. Another interesting thing, this was really cool, I learned on a piano, each hand is playing a separate rhythm, but on guitar, your right hand or whichever hand is doing the rhythm and is supporting your left. Meaning to say, here's what it says. There is a lower cognitive load. So it's actually easier to sing while playing guitar because you're talking about two rhythms versus one rhythm. And then imagine, those people can sing while playing drums. They're crazy and cognitively. And Eman can, so that's why he's the advanced guy. 7. Good accompaniment. On that note, number 1, it can be its own accompaniment because again, there are 6. So like, patiently I wait. Right, you can be both the rhythm section and the melody of it. But secondly, it's impressive because it can accompany singers really well. It has nearly 4 octaves. The piano has 7 octaves, but the range of open strings is similar to the range of a male tenor singer. So it accompanies the male voice very nicely when you play open chords. And the low strings are lower than most female voices. So it forms a nice counterpoint to them and makes it, I don't know, sound good. That was just really interesting. Like the guitar naturally accompanies the typical voices that we sing, makes it really cool. Last one, portability, very straightforward, right? Unlike a piano or an electric keyboard, we can just bring this over to the beach, camping. We can go wherever we want. We can climb it up to the top of a hill in Oregon or Hawaii, etc., and just play it and then throw it down the hill. No, don't do that. Okay. So the second set. Okay, so let me highlight 5 of these. Versatility, speed of usefulness, singing and playing, good accompaniment, portability. I think that these 5, and there's probably many more things, but these 5 are why I would dub the guitar an instrument made for missionaries. And that's me. See, I told you, I fall asleep with the guitar like it's a pillow. And I'm praying that all of you are, if not already, will get that comfortable with your instrument. But because it's made for missionaries, for those who are at the missionary brand workshop, I learned a lot there. And one was that we're meant to communicate Christ. And so how do you approach guitar like a missionary? And I think what it led me to was Pope John Paul II, 1999. He wrote a letter called Letter to Artists, addressing the artists of the world. And I think if you were to read it, it's really beautiful. I encourage you to take the time to read the full thing, but it clearly shows how to form your time, talent, and treasure as a Christian artist, or in this case, as a missionary with a guitar. And so let me just read these 3 quotes really quickly. So treasure, the particular vocation of individual artists decides the arena in which they serve and points as well to the tasks they must assume, the hard work they must endure, and the responsibility they must accept. Artists who are conscious of this know too that they must labor without allowing themselves to be driven by the search for empty glory or the craving for cheap popularity, and still less by the calculation of some possible profit for themselves. Be very careful of the treasure you are chasing. Right? Is it empty glory, cheap popularity, possible profit, or music, art, whatever it is your gift and talent is it truly a labor of love? That the treasure you're chasing is an encounter with love and a sharing of love itself with others. Second, time. Oh, it loaded this time. Look at that, so cool. Those who perceive in themselves this kind of divine spark, which is the artistic vocation as a poet, writer, sculptor, architect, musician, actor, and so on, feel at the same time the obligation not to waste this talent, but to develop it in order to put it at the service of their neighbor and of humanity as a whole. Take the time to develop this talent that God has given you so that you can use it for others. And lastly, talent. The church also needs musicians. Remember, this is the Pope writing a direct letter to artists. The church needs musicians. How many sacred works have been composed through the centuries by people deeply imbued with the sense of mystery? The faith of countless believers has been nourished by melodies flowing from the hearts of other believers. A direct letter from the Pope to you. Your talent is needed. God uses music flowing from your heart to nourish the faith of believers. Amen. And lastly, vocation. This is towards the start of Letter to Artists. So this is my favorite quote in the whole thing. He says, that is why artists, the more conscious they are of their gift, are led all the more to see themselves in the whole of creation with eyes able to contemplate and give thanks and to raise to God a hymn of praise. And then look at this last sentence. This is the only way for them to come to a full understanding of themselves, their vocation, and their mission. For you to understand your identity, your vocation, your mission, who you are made to be, you need to become more conscious of your gift, right? Understanding the gifts you have are key on your journey to becoming fully alive. And that's why I love this whole week. Calligraphy, Quincy said that it helped her to listen to God as she did it. Graphic design on Tuesday, Martin was saying it helped him to see the design of the world and of the universe and how God has designed creation. Songwriting last night, Kuyabimbo was showing us how when you give word and sound to the prayers deep in your heart, like how beautiful that is. And so what is there to learn in the gift of guitar about ourselves? And I think it is that when you can't find the words, right, to say something, and there's something inexpressible inside you, the guitar is a way to express that noise from within and to give sound to something that's previously inexpressible, right? When you can't find the words, it is a way to talk to cry to vent to thank, to lift prayers to God. And so this is to go back to it. When man comes into contact with God, mere speech is not enough. This is a beautiful gift that you hold in your hands, brothers and sisters. So let's learn how to share it, how to appreciate it, how to grow in our talent and our understanding of it. Welcome to the Guitar Workshop. So we will now open the breakout rooms. So if you haven't yet, again, it's in the chat. Rename yourself with A if you're comfortable playing for worship, and B if you are comfortable, not yet comfortable. So long, Eman. Everybody with the A will go with Eman to the advanced guitar portion breakout room. And everybody else will stay here with me. Okay, welcome, my fellow beginners. Praise God for your yes to come here. Let's clap it up. Woo! All right, now that the pressure is gone from those really good guitar players, I can be more myself. Okay. So again, let me scroll down here. So the goal today is that we're going to learn a song together. Yes, it's going to be really fun. And so the first thing that we're going to do is tune our guitars. Very important. So I'm going to send a link here. Or if you have a phone with you, just search Guitar Tuner in your phone. Here we go. There we go. Guitar Tuner app. But it's important as a guitarist, and that is what I call you. You are truly a guitarist. You have a guitar in your hands. You must have a tuner on you at all times. So whether it's on your phone or this website. So what we'll do here. Oh, not that one. Here we go. Guitar tuner. Oh, hold on. Refresh. 1 second, everybody. Oh, hold on. There it is. Okay. Thank you, Lord. Okay. So this is the link I sent. And so it's real simple. Just enable mic. And then all you have to do is just play the note and then see where it lands. Oh, my. Page unresponsive. I think I have to refresh it. Uh-oh. Well, that's why I've got a guitar tuner on my phone. But as this refreshes or reloads, all you have to do is play a note, and then you want to make sure that it lands in the middle. Okay, here we go. Guitar tuner. Oh, it's back. Yes, Lord. Thank you. All right, so see, I play the E. So if it's too low, you want to make it higher until it's right in the middle. And just do that with each string. All right, so while everybody is tuning, and if you're already tuned, praise God, good to go. But for those who are still tuning, you can take your time. I'll just mention that as we go through this, I'm going to also talk about some, I think, mindsets that maybe hold us back as we learn a new skill, especially as we learn something like guitar. And so one of them is pride. And I think pride happens in two ways when it comes to especially like skills and talents. Is that we compare ourselves to others. And so one way that happens is that I look at someone else and, oh man, that person's way better than me, right? Maybe like even in this workshop, oh man, that person got that so quickly. And there's this voice of discouragement and like, man, you weren't as good at that as that person. You're not good at this. And so I think it's important not to compare, ourselves where we're at to where other people are at. Similarly, thinking that we're, better than someone else or farther along, and the pride seeps in that way of like, oh man, I'm better than Carlos, so I'm good. Like, I don't need to learn anything else. Like, I'm better than that person. Sorry, Carlos. It's because I know Carlos. But yeah, so both ways, right? Just, I think as we're here, you come as you are, and that's okay. And I thank you for coming as you are, whether super beginner, whether you're just borrowing the guitar, or if you, already have a little bit of confidence. But here's what's important is that we are all here at different levels. Ideally, we could have had like one-on-one lessons. That would be really cool. But I'm going to provide little challenges for different levels, the different levels that people may be at. And so if you do find something that's already natural to you, try the next level. I'll try to present some things that are maybe a little more challenging. But whether you're brand new or whether you're, a little more proficient, just let this next 30 minutes be a time to get out of your comfort zone in some way, to take some piece of practicing and the method of practicing and to be able to apply it. And lastly, if we ever go too fast, if I'm ever going too fast, we're recording this right now and we're going to upload it to YouTube after all the workshops are done. And so you could always watch it if there's a part that you really want to rewatch, and you can watch it at 0.5 speed. On YouTube, you can change the video speed, so we can always slow it down and rewatch these things. All right. Amen. So everybody ready? If you're not fully tuned, it's okay. Leave it not fully tuned because we can't hear, as long as you still practice the shapes and the practicing. So our first thing is holding the guitar. Okay, let me switch scenes here. There we go. So I put on pants. I had shorts on, but I switched to pants just for this shot. And this is important, our proper posture for holding the guitar. So, let me just disclaimer. These are all things that I simply searched on YouTube to find. There are people, again, who are professional guitar teachers. And so I'm just borrowing some of the things that they taught me, some of the really key tips. And so these are some best practices. So I'll teach the casual style of holding the guitar. Number one, grab your guitar and place it onto the knee right there. Make sure it's comfortable. Something that's helpful is to raise whatever knee it's on. So for me, I have like a pillow here. I can just step on the pillow. I've also got a Milano box of cookies. I can step on that to raise it. It makes it a lot more comfortable. And if you're still getting used to the guitar, then it's important that you make sure you're as comfortable as possible, right? And so if you can raise your foot up, please do so. One mistake that they said to be very careful of is to not slouch the guitar. We are prone to this because when we're learning, we're looking at the frets, right? We're trying to see what we're playing. But the way he put it is that this is not ergonomic, right? And so when we're slouching like this, you can see my wrist is now bending, and that this is just it is not the proper posture. So what we want to do is, you see, when I'm not slouching it, my wrist is straight. It's better. So he said, what you want to do is just take your arm and put it really around the guitar and pull it in. So you want to make sure that the guitar is tight. And I think this is important, right? I think we will have the tendency, especially if you're starting, to try to turn it, and just as much as possible, get used to having that guitar in tight. It's good to practice the proper posture rather than having to correct it later down the line, right? Okay, so that's the posture and a little bit of why. I will challenge anybody here, if that stuff is supernatural, you were already sitting like that, then if your guitar has a strap, put it on and stand up for the rest of this workshop. Because worship, we stand up during worship. And so again, if you're really comfortable already like this, that's second nature to you, then practice standing up for the duration of how long a worship would be. So that's the extra challenge there. Okay, as right before we get into now the fun stuff, I think another mindset that hinders us is fear, right? And I think that fear can lead to a lot of excuses like, man, I can't do it, I can't learn that, that's too hard, I'm too old, or my fingers are too fat, or whatever, I'm not nimble enough, I'm not dexterous enough, guitar is my brother's thing, I don't need to learn that, or we already have enough music ministers. And I tried guitar before when I was younger and I gave up, I stopped trying. And I think what's important as we do start to learn this beautiful skill of guitar is to be very mindful if there are negative mindsets coming in, because a negative voice is not a voice of God. And so if you're feeling any of that negativity, anxiousness, fear, just acknowledge that. I think what's beautiful is for each of us, this is going to be a journey in humility and patience and fortitude, and also kindness and charity towards yourself, right? Being kind and charitable and patient with yourself as you learn a brand new skill or learn something new, do something difficult. Amen. All right. So we leave our fears, we leave our pride, just set it aside for now. We all come as we are. We all have acknowledged that we're beginners in some aspect here. And so please, again, feel comfortable to be yourself, to mess up a little, to just try something new, get out of your comfort zone. All right. So now I'm going to place this here. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. I know it's missing. I have extra lighting so that my fingers are really well lit. Okay. All right. There we go. Okay. So we're going to go over the fingering number system, the number system of the guitar. So number one is the fingers. So this is pretty straightforward. It's the same way you count 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Unless you're from the UK and you count like that, but just 1, 2, 3, 4, real easy. That's straightforward. Another one that's straightforward is the frets. So the way we count the frets from the end of the neck, just this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on and so forth. I know a lot of your guitars have dots. Mine does too, but mine is on the side, so it's kind of hard to see. But typically, those dots help indicate for you visually. This is 3, this is 5, this is 7, this is 9. So it just becomes sort of a shortcut to know what fret you're at. But just know that, right, our fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4, our frets, 1, 2, 3, and so on. The strings are a little counterintuitive, actually. So, I think you would think that normally this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and we would just count down, but it's actually flipped. For me, a good way to remember that is 6 is the biggest number, and this is the biggest string. So it actually is, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so if I were to say, place your first finger on the first fret on the first string, where would you place that? You place it right there. Yeah. Oh, let me fix my camera really quick as you look for that first finger, first fret, the focus. Yes. Oh, beautiful. Okay. Looks good. So there, now you can see it really clearly. First finger, first fret, first string. Okay, so that's the numbering system in a nutshell. So what we're going to go over actually for our first thing is strumming. We're going to take this one hand at a time. And so for strumming, here we go. Number one, should you use a pick or not? Either. I think just for the purposes of this workshop, if you're brand new, just do what you're comfortable with, pick or not. If you are already comfortable strumming, you already know how to strum, then again, for the purposes of this workshop, I would suggest you do the one you're less comfortable with so that you can take this time to get out of your comfort zone. And so some tips as we get ready to start strumming and practice strumming is to relax, right? If you tense up, this is how he put it, it'll be inefficient and open the door for injury. So if you can feel yourself at any point in your bicep and your forearm like tensing up, take a moment to stop, relax, right? The stretches Eman showed us, and then start over again. You want to really be loose when you're strumming. Second is don't lock your wrist, right? He was saying that some people strum like that, but he said, I love this imagery. He said, imagine you've got some honey stuck on your pinky, try to flick it off, flick the honey off of the pinky. So you want, the strumming is really more in the wrist motion. So don't be locked up, right? You want to flick that honey off like that. So you want your wrist to be real loose. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do this pattern here, which is we're going to practice our downstrokes. D means down, U means up. And so don't worry about your left hand. For this, I'm going to mute it. Otherwise, it would sound really loud. So I'm just going to mute it. But what we're going to do is just practice, again, our wrist being loose, our forearm being loose and relaxed. We're just going to practice strumming down. And so we're going to do this 20 times. Are you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Down strums. Down, 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 down. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, beautiful. Good stuff. All right, now we're going to practice upstrokes. Upstrokes, I think the way that he differentiated it, I really liked how he put it, is that with the downstroke, for example, it's like I'm playing all the strings. But he said with the upstroke, you can be a little less, you don't have to hit all strings. It doesn't have to sound like that. He said you only really have to hit these top 3 strings when you're aiming. So a downstroke sounds like this, but an upstroke might sound more like this. So see, you're really just trying to emphasize the top strings. So we're going to practice doing this upstroke over and over and over. Let me turn this on. There we go. Okay, we're going to do this upstroke 20 times. Are you ready? So again, just try to focus on hitting the top 3 strings or the bottom 3 strings. And then we'll do this 20 times. A 3, a 2, a 1, up, 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 up. Keep that wrist loose. Up, up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Yeah. Here, let's do that again. But for level 2, if that's already super comfortable for you, praise God, then here, try this for the level 2ers. Down, 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 up, down, up. And if it's not, we'll keep doing the upstrokes. Are you ready? We'll do 20 more upstrokes. Level 2ers, feel free to try that down, 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 up pattern. Here we go. 20 more upstrokes. 3, 2, 1. Up, 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 up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. And then here we go. We'll do the downstrokes. Again, level 2. Keep trying that if you're already comfortable with the basic one. So we'll do 20 more downstrokes. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Down, 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 down. Wrist loose. Make sure to relax. Down, down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, all right. Let's clap it up for that. So see, I know that's super simple stuff, but that's the kind of practicing that we need to do for our muscles to get used to it, right? It's the same way that in basketball practice, they do drills, they run, they do suicides, they do sidestepping. They're preparing their muscles to react in the ways that they want them to, right? So this exercise, I guarantee you, if you were to do that every single day, even just for 10 minutes a day, in 1 week's time, your wrist would feel way more relaxed and way more comfortable doing that motion. So just practice, all right? If strumming is something you need to practice, first just really practice that basic motion, and then the rhythm will start to come more naturally. All right, that is strumming. Nice, amen. So we're gonna go into chord shapes. But before that, we have to review once again our numbering system, right? So again, we have our fingers 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we've got our frets 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. And then our strings, first string is actually the bottom one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, this is the fun part, because after we learn 2 chords, you will know enough to play a whole song. Yeah, woo! We're already halfway there to learning this song. All right, this is an E chord. What in the world is that? Emma showed it earlier. Okay, so just to make it simpler, this is also was confusing to me, learning guitar. It looks like this, actually. If I was to put my guitar like this, you can see the spaces that are horizontal are actually the frets, and then the lines down represent the strings. And every single dot, every single black dot that's there shows where a finger should be placed. So this is a chord chart. I think for our purposes, I'm going to flip it on its side because it will make a lot more sense here. Okay, and what we're trying to do here, just like with our right hand, we are trying to get our right hand used to that motion, right? Used to starting to build that muscle memory. Our goal here in learning this chord, E, and you'll learn another chord after, is to get our hands, to get that muscle memory built in. And so we're gonna do a little bit of practicing of getting our hand in that position, then out of it, in it, out of it, in it, until our hand starts to feel really natural going there, right? So here's what we're gonna do. First, let's find it. So number 1, right, says 1 meaning our first finger. So first finger, and then if you count the strings up on the first fret, 1, 2, and you'll see right there, 1, 2, 3. So your first finger should go there. And what you can do is try to play that string. And can you hear it? If it sounds like this, that means you're not pressing hard enough. So you gotta press hard. And it should look like this, because that's how hard you should be pressing. And it's gonna hurt, absolutely. But eventually you will build calluses, and no pain, no gain. So for now, if it hurts, that's okay, but push down to the point where you can hear it. So again, let's find that. Our first finger goes on the first fret and goes up to that 3rd string. And just make sure you're pressing down hard enough that you can hear that. Now we'll take our second finger. You can see it's on the 2nd fret, all the way on the 5th string up, the 2nd string from the top, and push that down too. Make sure you can hear it. And then our last finger there, our 3rd finger, is just gonna go same fret, but on the string below our middle finger, right? So now, try to give it a play. See if it sounds like that. If not, I think 2 things. Number 1, again, are you pressing hard enough? If not, it's gonna sound a bit muted. Number 2, you might be blocking a string with your finger. See that? This finger is now blocking that string. So what you wanna do is try to arch your fingers as much as possible, right? So that you're only touching the strings that you should be touching, right? Rather than if I relax, I'm blocking that string, I'm potentially blocking that string. So try to arch your fingers. Okay, that's the E chord. Now, again, we gotta make sure that our hand is used to finding that so that we don't have to think so hard every time. So here's an exercise that I like doing. Actually, I still do this exercise because sometimes now I learn new chords, right? Like, and what I do is keep putting my hand there and then taking it off until my hand memorizes where that is and what that feels like and where, and you know, what it sounds like. So what we're going to do is take your hand off, wiggle it out a little bit, and we're going to find that chord again and hope that our hand remembers a little bit from where it was before. So again, our first finger, we go up there to that third string. Our second finger goes along that second fret all the way to the string right below the top. And then our ring finger should naturally feel like it can just be put down right onto the string right below that. And if you got that, give it a play. And then if you got it, if not, try to find it. And once you do find it, let go. Wiggle it out a bit again, and then find it again. First finger, first fret on that third string. Second finger, go up the second fret to the string right beneath that, and then fourth finger, go there. And so what we're going to do is try to find it 5 times in a row, no mistake. When you make a mistake, I like doing this. I think it's like what Steph Curry would do. He would try to make 10 free throws in a row and would never leave the gym till he makes them all in a row. So he would keep starting over. So every time, we won't do this here, but I would suggest it makes it fun for me to sort of gamify it. Like 1, 2. Oh, okay, let me start over. 1, 2. Okay, until I get 5 in a row so that I know that my hand is improving. So we're going to do that. As we do that, I just encourage anybody who already knows the E chord real well. I just want to teach you an alternative. This is a tab sheet, so each of those are the numbers, fret you should put it on. So for level 2ers, find that 799. And this is an alternative E, sounds beautiful in worship. So just try to find that and then do the same exercise. Let go, find it, let go, find it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to let go and find it 5 times, okay? Ready? Let go. And then try to find that E. First finger to the third string, second finger, go up that second fret to the 5th string, 4th finger right there, and then give it a strum. Once you strum it, once you find it, let go again, find it again, first finger up that first fret, second finger, 4th finger there, let go again, find it, second finger there, third finger there, let go again 2 more times, first finger there, second finger there, third finger there, final one, let go, shake it out, try to find it, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, beautiful, nice. And I think as you are able to get more comfortable, just to speed up how fast you can find it. Because, sometimes our chord switches are quick. So you want to be able to make sure that your hand can naturally find that chord. So I love doing that exercise, and you just speed it up and try to make sure your hand can always find that. So really useful exercise. And the whole point is that we're building our hands muscle memory so that we don't have to think anymore, right? We don't have to picture this whole... Where is the camera? We don't have to picture this whole chord sheet in our heads. Our hand will just know to go to that. And so that's why teach your hand where to go. So that's the E chord. 1 down, we are 75% away from learning the song. Last chord here, the A chord. Again, it's as if we had our guitar like that. And then these would be the strings. These would be the frets. And the black parts are where the fingers go. I'll flip it on its side. And this is the A chord. So we're going to find this together, especially for those who this is a new chord, then this is an awesome one. So we just take our first finger, right? Again, you see all of these are on the 2nd fret up here. So we just go to the 2nd fret, and then our first finger goes to the 1, 2, 3, 4th string. Our 2nd finger, same fret, the string right underneath that. And our 3rd finger, same fret, the string right underneath that. So it should sound like this. And again, if it doesn't sound like that, because this is a pretty crowded fret right now, right? It's pretty crowded. So maybe, again, either number 1, you're not pushing down hard enough. So push down hard, get those calluses started to go. And then be careful if you are blocking a string with a finger, right? So make sure again to get that arch so that every single string is unblocked by the other fingers. And that's an A chord. So I'll just show it one more time. We take our pointer finger up the second fret, 1, 2, 3, 4. Our middle finger, our second finger goes right beneath that, and our third finger, just so naturally, right? You can already feel how naturally that wants to go there. And then just try to make sure you're pushing down hard enough, and that you're arching enough, and that your fingers aren't touching any other string. All right, and so we're gonna do the same exercise again, taking off and putting on. For those who are already, they know that. Here is the level 2. To do the same thing you did with the E799, but let go of the 7. And this is this beautiful open worship A that's high. Right, oh man, it sounds so good. So just try to find that. So we'll do the same exercise again. So let go, shake out your hand, and we're gonna find this 5 times in a row until our hand builds up that muscle memory. So here we go. First time on the second fret, go up to the 4th string, and then our middle finger should go beneath that, our ring finger beneath that. Give it a play, make sure it sounds good. When it does sound good, let go. Find it again up the 2nd fret, 1, 2, 3. Let it play. Let go of it. 3rd time, go up that 2nd fret, find that string. Try to allow your fingers to start, just finding it on its own. If it's starting to feel natural, then just trust that your fingers will find it. Last 2, 2nd fret, go up, 4th string, and then let the other 2 go right, and the strings right below it. Last one, here we go. 2nd fret, 4, 3, 2. And that's the A chord, brothers and sisters. Nice, let's clap it up. Woo! Now what we're gonna do is put it together, right? This is why we were practicing finding those chords, right? On and off and on and off. Because in a real song, you're not just gonna keep, why would you need to keep taking it off? Because you're actually gonna switch between chords. And so what we're gonna do is practice going from E to A. E to A, E to A. And just for those who are already used to that, try to do it, but with the level 2, and just let go of that pointer finger. So E to A, E to A, and I'll do it a little slower than that, but we want to now practice that our hand knows how to go from one chord to another. So again, let's find this E chord, and follow it up there. First finger on the 1st fret, 2nd finger up the 2nd fret to that 5th string, and the 4th one goes right there. Try to make sure it still sounds good, and then switch to the A. So 1st finger on that 2nd fret there, 4th string, and then we switch to the E. Once you got that, switch back. Find the E, and then switch back to the A. Switch back to the E. Switch back to the A. We'll do this 2 more times. Switch to the E. If your switches already feel good, try to do those switches faster. Switch to the A. Last switch, back to the E. Here we go. Yeah. How are we feeling? By show of thumb down to thumb up. Feeling pretty good? Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, diagonal, pretty good. Awesome. Then I think we're ready to move to the next thing, which is now putting everything together. Where does my camera go? Okay, here. This will go down here. Whoa, cool. All right, so what we're going to do now is to take that switching, E, A, E, A, E, A, and then apply our strumming on the right hand. Right, and so we're gonna do this pattern down, 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 down to down, and every time you strum 8 downs, we'll switch from one chord to the next. All right, so for example, and it won't be this fast, so it won't be that fast, but every time we play 8 times, we'll switch to the other chord. Okay, so ready? Here we go. Find that E first. Over here. Find the E. And then we're gonna strum it 8 times down. E, 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 E. Now switch to the A. Switch to the E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Switch to the A. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, loose wrists. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Last one. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Beautiful. Now here's what we're gonna do. Again, if you're already good with that, here's the advanced chords, and even we can add the advanced strumming. If you're already comfortable with what we just did, you could do the down, 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 up, down, up, 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 and just to practice that. And then otherwise, you could also do it with this 799, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up. So I'll leave it to you where you're at as far as comfortability, but I'll continue with this EA. Well, we're gonna do this 10 times in a row. One thing to note, expectations, a mindset that might hinder us. We might think that this should be easier than it is, or that we should be getting, it should be clicking faster than it is. Don't get discouraged, right? Learning a new skill is going to expose you to new things that you need to work on. And so that's a good thing, right? Pain is progress. If your hands are hurting, if your wrist is, hurting, again, these are maybe motions and shapes of your finger that your body's not used to doing. And when you can feel that it's sore, just like if for those who work out, right, that just means that your body is now going to start adjusting. Yeah, there you go. Shake it out, Ronnie. That's good stuff. So allow your body. The pain means that tomorrow your body will be able to stretch it even more. So here we go. Are you ready? We're going to put it all together again. E and then A. Oh, E and then A. So I'll do the level 1 stuff, but again, level 2, feel free to add that down, up, down, up in the middle there. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. D, E, E, E. 1, 2, 3. Switch to the A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And back to the E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. To the A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Back to the E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. To the A. 2 more times. 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last one. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Beautiful. Now we're gonna add one more trick. This is which camera? This is a metronome. Just search metronome on your phone. I learned this from an actual professional musician, a sister who went to college for music. And what's really key, again, right, we're trying to slowly get our bodies used to these different motions or these rhythms. And so playing with a metronome, number 1, it helps you to start building that natural rhythm. But number 2, it helps you to start quantifiably getting faster and seeing where your comfortability is at as far as speed. So we're gonna try this at we're gonna try it at 120. If you can hear that, I'll put it near the mic. And what we're gonna try to do is stay right on beat. 1, 2. Okay, here we go. Ready? 1, 2. The E. To the A. To the E. All right, let's do this 2 more times. E. Last one. To the A. Oh, Oh, see, I'm slowing down. E, yeah, beautiful. So again, if I think that if you're still working on the switches, or the strumming is still not natural, this is something that, again, I think even if you were to do this like for the next week, this exercise we've done would become super natural. And we really want to build that muscle memory, because my prayer for all of you is that you would be able to play for worship in your local household or chapter. And when you play for worship, the more that you are worrying about the chords and the timing, the less you are, the less you are able to pray. So once you can get it to the point where your hands are already know where to go, where you already naturally have that rhythm, practicing with your metronome, it opens up more space in your mind to just focus on God. And so that's what I really would hope, as you continue to practice, to reach for that goal of where this is all muscle memory, second nature, so that when you do play for worship, you're able to really focus on just praying and focus on the prayer. So we're going to put it all together one more time as we wait for the other group to come. And I'm going to add a level 3 here. Oh, wait, let me change that to ×2. There we go. And this one to ×2. If you are already comfortable with the down, down, down to down, down, or the down, 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 up, then try to also sing as well. Sing and play. And I think if you haven't ever tried singing and playing, you will surprise yourself. Especially when we get so repetitive in practicing this, you'll see that your muscles really start to remember it, and you free up space to sing at the same time. So we're going to do this one more time, just this whole exercise all together. Just to reinforce everything we've learned. So here we go. Are you ready? Let's clap it up. Woo! Let's do it. Put it all together. This is the song that we've been working towards. Okay, here we go. So find that E again on the first fret there, second, third. Then we're gonna okay, forget the metronome for now. I'm thinking too many things. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 6, 7. Switch to A. To E. To A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. To A. 1, 2, 3. And if you're good with that, try to sing E. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. Back to E. I want to see you. To the A. I want to see you. Yeah, keep trying. Back to the E. Open the eyes. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. A. Open the eyes of my heart. To the E. I want to see you. I want to see you. Let's do it one more time. Open the eyes. E. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. A. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. And then end on the E. Yeah. Beautiful. Let's clap it up. Awesome. Yeah, I could see pretty much everybody's, following along, trying to sing if they haven't before. So praise God, yeah, for just your openness to try it out and to get out of your comfort zones. We're going to just keep jamming on this while we wait for the advanced people to come back. Look, one thing I want to just emphasize, I've learned through quarantine, it is possible to jam online, even though we're like muted and stuff. Yeah, we're just going to keep playing this song a little bit and just try to have a little fun with it. So again, find that E, find that A. And and we'll just play it out, practice again. Whichever part of this that you need to practice, if it's the chord switching, if it is the strumming, if it's putting it both together, if it's doing it all and singing it, if it's trying these new chords, if it's putting together the level 2 strumming, wherever you're at is okay, but take some time to be uncomfortable and try to practice. And I think what's fun is we've got the company of brothers and sisters. It's not just us by ourselves in our room. So we'll just practice together. Whichever of these is new or something that is challenging. And here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. To the A. To the E. Back to the A. Alright, here we go. Let's sing Open the Eyes. Try it. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes. Back to the E. Holy, 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 A. Holy, holy, holy. To the E. Holy, 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 A. I want to see you. Back to the E. And holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. To the E. Holy, 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 A. I want to see you. Let's sing Open the Eyes. Give it a try. Sing it. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. To the A. Open the eyes of my heart. Back to the E. I want to see you. A. I want to see you. One more time. Open the eyes. E. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. To the A. Open the eyes of my heart. A. E. I want to see you. To the A. I want to see you. Okay, we're gonna play E and then let it ring. Sing it out. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. To the A. Let it ring. Open the eyes of my heart. To the E. Let it ring. I want to see you. And I want to the A, see you. Okay, one more time to the E. This time we let it ring and clap. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. To the A, open, clap it, the eyes of my heart. E, I want to see you. A, I want to see you. And then end on the E, big finish. Yeah, woo! Let's give it up for our beginner students. Woo!
Hello, hello. I guess before I even start, I can kind of introduce myself a little. My name's Eman Espino, and I'm from Pennsylvania. Anyone here from Pennsylvania? I think there are. Let's go, Pennsylvania. I come from Northeast B, and I like to play guitar. And I joined the community actually, I remember back in, through CFC Youth in 2010. So over 10 years now I've been part of the community. I transitioned into SFC just 2 years ago. So praise God, I've met a lot of people, seeing a lot of new faces here too. Excited what God has in store for us today. I remember in terms of music, I've been playing music for a long time. My parents would tell me that when my mom was pregnant, they would hold up headphones to her belly and play music. I don't know if that's true, but I feel like it kind of makes sense. I listen to a lot of music now, right? And I don't know. I grew up playing piano. We had like some keyboard, like an electronic keyboard that we actually like literally got from like the dumpster, I think. Um, and I would just press play and listen to all the music go through and dance around. Um, and then what? I took piano lessons when I was in like elementary school. I learned how to play different instruments. I played the ukulele or ukulele. And then I transitioned to guitar. In 2010, the same year, I actually joined CFC Youth. And I've been playing in the community ever since I think my first household. Playing like Thousandfold, I think was one of the first worship songs. So I don't know. I'm really excited to be here. I love playing guitar. I love just literally like I haven't been thinking about it, but I've just been strumming some chords and just kind of feeling noise or like the empty. I don't know, just the emptiness of everything else when I'm not talking. Anyways, that's a little bit about me. I have some pictures here. I showed them last time. I guess I can show them now real quick because I think they're pretty funny. This is me in 2013. This is that's me on the left. This is for a pre-con in Pennsylvania, for Northeast. And funny story, I broke my guitar the night before, so this is like another guitar that we had to buy. It was really sad, but I still have this guitar and I love it. So that's 2013. This is 2014. This is Neil's Northeast A Leaders Summit. Some familiar faces in there, maybe not. It's me in the middle of the guitar. It's not even my guitar. That's my brother's guitar. That was really fun. You can see all my bracelets, my cardigan, my button up. I don't even wear that anymore. I think I still have that shirt. And pants, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, that's Neil's 2014. And then this is Live Loud 2015. Oh, there it is. Some really blurry picture of me. That's my guitar. It's my other guitar that's in repair right now. I missed that guitar, but hopefully she'll be back soon. And this is Praise Fest 2017. That's me holding the E. Yeah, this was really fun. This was in Delaware, and it was really fun. It really opened my eyes to like just like if you really want to have an event with people who you love, like playing music with, like just do it. And that inspired me to have another Praise Fest in Pennsylvania, Praise Fest Diverge 2018. That's me all the way on the left with my bass guitar. And yeah, and actually right after this event was like when I officially transitioned into SFC. And I have, praise God that I have so many more opportunities to serve. Even being here right now in this conference, praise God for just, all these opportunities to serve. So enough about me. Let's talk about this instrument we have in front of us, in our hands, within our reach, hopefully. And if you don't, then, I just ask that you continue to, I don't know, take any notes. If you have any questions, feel free to chat, please. Yeah. So I guess before I even start, just want to let you guys know that this is a very interactive workshop, and I hope it's as interactive as it is in my mind. And these are just some techniques, like emphasis on some, not all techniques. These are not the techniques. These are just some techniques that I've learned and have helped me throughout the years kind of like elevate my guitar playing in worship, kind of helping me through practice, because this is more than just an instrument. Like this is like we're not just playing the guitar as our instrument, we're allowing God to use us as his instruments. So yeah, I just ask that you guys stay open to anything new. If you want to ask something or you want to add something, feel free to use the chat. Yeah, so I guess I just want to let's see, keep in mind what we're capable of. We're here in the advanced workshop. We're confident in our playing. We know how to play chords. We know how to strum. I assume that if I asked you guys to play a chord, like any major or minor chord, that you guys would be able to play. And if I say like, oh, it's this, if you listen to something, you can strum along. So just like I ask that you know, think about what you're capable of. Let's like think about like reflect on like where our comfort zone is, and let's take just to take one step outside of that. I'm not asking you to jump in the deep end of the pool, but we're just gonna dip our toes in. Think about what are we used to playing. Are we used to playing live loud songs? Are we used to playing heavy metal or whatever, like jazz, rock, anything out there? Like what are we used to playing? What genre and what play style? Do we like playing slow, acoustic, or do we like to play, like, and whatever it may be? And I just ask that, that we are. What am I saying? Something that I always try to keep in mind is, we are advanced, and God has given us this knowledge of our instruments, of music. But the thing is, there's still so much to learn. That's why we're here, because there is that urge, that even how minuscule that urge to learn is, that's there. And we're here to learn more and to grow more. And we can't say that we're the best, but we can strive to be the best. So that said, let's go over some techniques. I want to see if I could do this like in a different order than last time. Maybe help it flow a little bit better. But I'm going to ask you guys to join me in playing. Ready? We're going to play our E chord. And if you guys don't know how to play E, it's right here. And that leftmost string is your low E, and then the rightmost string is the high E. So I guess you can just, strum along. Just strum along with me with the E. Hey, let's go. Hey, hey. And if you guys know how to play a different E, feel free to play those E's. If you like E sus4, you're like this E. What other E's are there? I don't know. E add 9. Just regular old E. Anyone's fingers hurting yet? I'm a little sweaty, so I don't know. So yeah, that was fun. That was a nice little E. I guess all I wanted to happen there was for us to kind of like take in different variations of chords. So we have this E major that we know. Here's the E sus4. It kind of looks like an A, but you put it up a string. It's very similar to our E. You just kind of move that one thing over, and you have E sus4. And instead of sounding like this, you kind of have this. It kind of feels like unresolved almost. It like leads you back down to E, like a. And now it feels like finished, like it resolves right there. This is kind of like all these different versions of these chords. Kind of dipping our toes in, I guess you could say chord substitution almost, or just like different variations of the chords. Like when we play like Build My Life, like we know how to play this G, but do we know how to, like when you read C, you probably are gonna go to like the C add 9. Like we're not always gonna play. We're usually gonna play that C add 9. Worthy of every song you could ever sing. That C add 9. Versus that regular C, which we would play in different songs like, I don't know, I'm just thinking God You Reign, or even Our God is love and light, C. And, like we may or may not have this knowledge to use these different types of chords, but, I just want to open us all up to the idea that there are these chords that we can use, these different versions of these chords, different positions, to kind of let things flow together differently. Like think of songs that are in the key of E, E, C, minor, A. sometimes if I played everything the way, if I played every chord the way that Google told me it was, like the first result, it would sound like E, and I would play this B, I would play this C sharp minor, I would play this A, and like that, that might sound pretty good, but like we may know how to play A2, A sus2, or A2, this other B, B sus, I think, and this C sharp minor 7, maybe you know this C sharp minor 7, maybe you know this C sharp minor 7, maybe you know like this A, maybe you know this A, maybe you know this B, maybe you know this B, maybe you know this B, maybe B sus. There are all these different things that we know sound different, but they're all, at the root, it's literally the same chord with like a few embellishments. So I just, first step is I really encourage you guys to explore the world of all these different chords. When you see a chord sheet, a worship song that has all these different chords, like if we're playing Grateful, and will lift your name on high, the Live Loud chord sheet is going to say A, it's going to say A/C, and then it's going to say D. If you don't know what A/C is, basically you play an A, but then you add a C sharp like to the bass. So it would kind of look kind of funky. Like I play my A2, yeah, A/C sharp, sorry, yeah. And then a C sharp in the bottom. So it kind of sounds like that. And will lift your name on high. So it kind of sounds different than if you were to just use A. Or even Build My Life. C, G/B. You don't get that like full resolved G chord sound. You get that kind of like mid resolved-ish G/B sound. Or you might hear like, or even in like if you were in Youth for Christ recently in the past few years and you've heard like the Mass of the United Youth, like you hear that E/G sharp, and it has a different sound. Yeah, there's a bunch of these chords out there, and I just encourage you guys to, when you see a weird chord that you don't know what it means, if it says like M7, if there's like E and then a degree sign, like, or like this and a plus, like what does that mean? Like, like let's find out. Like these songs were written by people like us who are exploring the guitar, maybe, or a couple steps ahead of us, and have a little bit more knowledge than us. So like, why not use the knowledge that God gave them to continue for us to grow? So let's actually find out what those chords mean. So I guess, since we're talking about chords and theory a bit, I want to, I don't know, even talk more about theory. So I guess, long story short, theory is really hard to explain on the guitar because it's really hard to visualize. It's just a bunch of lines and more lines, and you put your finger somewhere and it makes a noise. So we're going to visualize it on the piano, which I have right here. Do you guys hear this? Let's see. Cool, thumbs up. Praise God. All right. So we're going to talk about scales. I don't know if you guys know about your scales. This kind of overall, this whole, I guess the next section is really, this is a high production workshop. Something I love about playing guitar is, when maybe sometimes like people say like, oh, what do you play? You say, oh, I play guitar. They might say cool, or they may say like, oh, you play like acoustic, you play electric, you play bass, you play like what guitar do you play, what brand, like blah blah blah. And there's all these things, and people have like different preferences, and people know from what you say like what you like and what you don't like. What genres do you play? There's all these things that that change between people. And the thing is, like, all these, I don't even know where I was going, but there's so many different things that come, from different people. And I guess in what was I saying? I lost my train of thought, but let's talk about the piano, shall we? um, so here's the piano. If you guys see that, hopefully you see that well enough. And this is what the piano looks like. This gray circle on this key is middle C. And we're going to talk about scales. So if you know how to play your scales, oh, I know where I was going. Electric guitar, bass guitar. You know, I want to, something that's helped me a lot is incorporating stuff from the bass guitar, from the electric guitar, back into the acoustic guitar. Even drums, like this is such a versatile instrument. You can, like Pat was showing us, you could whack it and it makes cool different noises anywhere. Like that's pretty cool too. So, you know, bringing in knowledge from different instruments back to the acoustic guitar. So with that said, let's look at this piano. Let's talk about scales. Long story short, I don't want to give like a full music theory lesson. Maybe if you're interested, you could like DM me on Facebook or something. That's pretty cool. But this is your C major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and that's your C major scale. And if you were to like look at the intervals in between each note, you know, these two being a half step and these two being a whole step, you get whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. I put that in chat. It just looks like a bunch of W's and H's. But that pattern allows us to take any single note to start off with and construct a major scale. I don't know, C sharp. Let's go ho, 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 half, ho, 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 half, and there's your scale. You know, there's your major scale. And that translates into guitar. I mean, obviously it's a major scale. It'll sound the same. There's like a pattern that I don't want to spend too much time, but if you want to try this out, here is a thingy. It's kind of sideways and a little wonky because it's like a chord thing that I made. So it looks like it's supposed to be a chord, but I numbered it 1 to 8, and you could start where that 1 is. You can start anywhere on either the E or the A string, and you should get a major scale of the note you start on. So if we want to say, let's say, if we want to make a C major scale, that 1 would be on the 3rd fret of the A string. And then it would sound like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there's your major scale. It's a little funky. But you can slide this up if you want to start, if you want to do it in E, you can start on the 7th fret of the A string. And there's your E scale, major scale, any scale right there. Even if you want to start like a G scale, you can start on the 3rd fret of your E string, low E string. And you know, you get this knowledge of the scales. You get the sounds in your head. You get used to hearing these notes together, and sooner or later we can take these chords that we know, these chord variations that we know, and we can kind of dig deeper to why these chords are called these things. Let's take E for example. Let's play our E, and if we play our E scale, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, and A, let's just think of our A. Our A is the 4th scale degree. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if we play our E, if we want to add an A into it, we could do our, we could add an A into it by playing the 2nd fret of the G string instead of the 1st fret. And there's an A in there, and that makes it our A sus4, or sorry, our E sus4. Kind of like what we were saying earlier, or E sus2, if you want to add like a 2 in there somewhere. Somewhere like, what would that be? And yeah, you know, we can take the knowledge of the scales, bring it back to the chords, and even if you want to like learn how to play different versions of the scales, here's a G scale that I like to play. It kind of just focuses on the bottom 4 strings, and you can play it in like your G position. This is really small. Can I make this bigger? Let's find out. I think I can just kind of drag it. Oh yeah, there it is. And you can, this, I like this because you could easily play it while you're playing the G chord. You can see like my hand doesn't move too much. And if you take some of those notes and you add it to your G chord, this is why I love playing, excuse me, in the key of G. You can kind of just, you can just play a bunch of these random notes and it sounds cool. And you know, you're jamming. It's, you know, G chord sounds really cool. G is really cool because you could play a lot of chords just in your bottom couple frets. G, A minor 7. You can play some different like F sharp, B minors, G, B's, and your C's and your D's and everything. But yeah, like I guess long story short, we could take the knowledge of these scales and bring it back to the chords to kind of, you know, expand what we already know about these chords. Because it's one thing to be able to memorize what shapes chords are. Like if I say C sharp minor 7, you know, you could say, oh, that's this. A minor 7, oh, that's this. But like what makes it minor 7? What makes it this and that? And you can, you know, take that knowledge and be able to like start saying like, well, what's A major 7, you know, and what is A major 7 sharp 5, and like it sounds really ugly. I don't know if that's even it, but you know, you get really complex stuff out there. Yeah, so I guess one last thing I really want to touch on is, well, I guess there's like two last things, but in terms of chords and notes and keys and everything, is this is like a, I guess something, if you want to write it down, it's called the Nashville number system. If you've ever heard someone say like, oh, the chord progression is just the 1 6 5 4. If you ever heard that, like 1 6 5 4 in the key of E, that's a Nashville number system. Basically, you're assigning a chord in a key to a number. So let's say in the key of E, if you have your E scale, your 1 is like your first scale degree is your E, your second scale degree is your F sharp, then your G sharp, your A, B, your, what is that, whatever, C sharp, D sharp, E. And that's your E scale. So you assign each one of those to a number. Well, not just that, but you assign that triad or chord associated in that key to that note with a number. It's kind of complicated, but in the key of E, that you'd have like 1 is E major, 2 is F sharp minor, your 3 is G sharp minor, your 4 is A major, your 5 is B major, your 6 is C sharp minor, your 7 is D sharp diminished. We can skip over that, and then your 1 again, or your 8 is your 1 is your E. And with the Nashville number system, you can change, if you assign chords to a number, you can then assign those numbers to a different key to completely change the key. And the biggest use of this is when you're playing for an, let's say you're playing for a sister's household, and you and the sisters can't sing that high. Like, oh, well, let's say this song is just too high for the sisters, so let's bring it down. Let's play, instead of playing in G, let's play in E. So instead, then let's say the chords are G, C, E minor, D. You can say, okay, G is 1, C is your 4, E minor is your 6, and your D is your 5. And then you can change the key and say if you want to play it in E, it would be your E, your A, your C minor, and B. And I guess this is something that some of us may already know, but this is kind of like a way to like trace that that knowledge from one to the other keys. And I'm like 90% sure that like half of you may have heard of this already, or already know how to do it but didn't know what it was called, or have heard like people refer to the chords as the numbers. But this is what it is, and I love it because like, especially with brothers' households, like when we're singing like All For You and all the brothers are going, whoa, and it's like super high, and like half of us are either screaming our lungs out, or we're singing in the lower octave, or some of us are just trying to like falsetto it, and like why don't we just like sing in a more comfortable key, even playing instead of in the key of A, playing in the key of G, and it's so much more comfortable, or even in the key of E if we want to. And this knowledge of being able to change keys just because we assign the chords to numbers, like it's kind of like next level math almost. But yeah, we have this knowledge of these chords, we have these knowledge of some of these other chords, and we have the knowledge of the scales. So this is all very left hand heavy. So let's talk about our right hand. This guy doing this thing, you know, usually doing this, maybe with some chord on the left hand if we're playing an E. And we're just playing our E, our right hand just kind of strumming along. And if we change the chord to an A, our right hand's still doing the same thing, right? And this right hand kind of just goes up and down, strumming the strings, no matter what strumming pattern. I guess this goes for a lot of people who haven't played a lot of different types of music, but your right hand is your strumming pattern. I remember when I was first learning guitar, the only strumming pattern I knew was, and you know, my hand is kind of just like, it's kind of just dropping, and this is a nice strumming pattern, but you know, you assign this to every song and it gets old. Like you hear this one, like you might learn how to play like Wonderwall and you play this strumming pattern. It's kind of like, you know, like why don't we try learning like different patterns with our right hand? We can learn different chords with our left hand, we can learn different strumming patterns with our right hand. And I guess rhythm is a big thing for me because like I love, like I used to play in the drum line, so I love like drums and I love how percussive the guitar is, and being able to just add the drum aspect to the guitar is crazy. So anyways, I didn't develop this technique, but it's just something I realized was always easiest for me, and I noticed a lot of people do it. But I kind of call it, I just call it 16th note strumming. So if our beat is just 1, 2, 3, 4, our 8th note is 1 and 2 and 3, and our 16th is 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, and if we strum that, just every note, I'm just muting all my strings. Like, I don't know, I heard people refer to these as like chucks, like chugga 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 chugga. And you know, whatever chord we're playing, we're just strumming at 16th notes. And something I realize people do is even when the strumming pattern is not all 16th notes, their hand's still moving. Like let's say the strumming pattern, instead of a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, it's just like 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and. It would sound like this. But my hand is still moving, you know, my hand is still moving up and down even when I'm not playing. Or if I'm playing 1 and 2 and just 8th notes, sometimes I'll just, and my hand is still moving. I'm not just like, I'm not doing this, but you know, I'm actually hitting these still down. And I feel like I've learned this through drumline because there's I don't know what it's called, but when we have 16 notes in drumline, you always want to play them alternating. So like right, left, like 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, and then there's like an exercise where you take one of those out. I think it's called like a grid, like 1. And I'm always, you know, even where there's a gap, I'm still kind of treating it as like a rest. And same with this, rest. And that really helps me, especially with, I call this the CFC strum. I don't know if that's what it's called. We've all heard this. This is what Redeeming Love. If I were to play this just like with just like moving only when I have to strum, it would kind of be like, and it gets all like weird and wacky. So just with that 16th note thing, 16th note strumming, just like keeping our hands moving even when we're not strumming, it really helps keep the rhythm. It really helps, I guess, when we have more complex rhythms, we're able to execute them easily. Yeah, I'm gonna hydrate because my mouth is dry. And especially with that, different different strumming patterns is a big thing. Like I said, something I like to do, I guess, if we want to get, I think we have a little bit more time than anticipated. So I guess we could go over, if anyone has any questions so far, you could type them in chat. But I've noticed a lot of slow songs. I would strum differently. I don't know. Let's name a slow song. Like this strum. I'm just playing G and C. And I'm sure you guys have heard a strum pattern like this. But for some reason, put my life. For some reason, I'm not a huge fan of this. I'm not saying don't use it. There's definitely moments where you can use this. But I feel like 1, 2, it kind of feels, I don't know, but like exploring different subdivisions of these, let's say, like if I play this, this is kind of like dividing my 16th notes. It's a drum line in me, possibly. I'm sure you guys have heard this before. Just build my life, yeah, literally. But you know, subdividing these 16th notes into 3s. And it kind of gives more life, I feel like, or even mixing them. Combining different feels, and I don't know, even if you like, what else is a weird number? 7? Is that gonna work? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Kind of sounds pretty funky. Just trying out these different things. I don't know. I was thinking 5s. I don't know, just like experimenting. I love this stuff. It's kind of funky. What else is there? I guess like we could go over, does anyone have questions so far? If anything, type them down. Does anyone already know this stuff? Does anyone want to go even deeper in like the couple minutes that we have? Maybe not. I guess we could talk about like transition chords. I guess, let's see. In the key of G, like if you have a G to a C like we've been playing. If we want to get a little theoretical, if we look at the notes in a G chord, our G is a G, B, what is it? G, A, B, C, D, G, B, D. So our third is a B, and if we're moving to a C, that B is really close to that C. And that B is in the G chord, and that C is in the C chord, obviously. So like we can kind of use that B in the G chord to transition into the C chord. It's a little complicated. But then basically it would sound like this. If we play like a G into G/B into C, it would sound like this. Actually, they use this in yeah, this is what they use in Grateful, like I was talking about. They use this in Build My Life. They use G/B to sound a little bit less resolved. And then we play G/B. And just really like finding out all these different I guess on the piano, these are called inversions. So really changing what the bottom note is in the chord. That's really cool. And it really helps, like if you're playing the key of E, you play your E/G sharp. And yeah, and I guess like the thing about inversions in piano is it helps you play different chords a lot closer together, and notes notes have an easier way to travel, like a shorter distance to travel chord to chord. And I feel like we can take that into guitar as well, like playing different forms of the chords. Like if I play this E, we know this E, we know A sus2, we may know the C sharp minor 7, and we know this B when you slide it down 2 frets. There's like a different form, like this B right here, we can actually switch where our index finger and I use my ring finger, but instead of it looking like 2-4-4, we can make it look like 4-2-4. And that's our C sharp minor 7 right there. It's a little complicated. Hopefully I don't have like a chord chart for it, but it kind of looks like that a little bit. And you can switch between this B or this C sharp minor and the B a lot faster. Now that you're near, I've never, oh yeah. But yeah, this C sharp minor, if you actually take off your ring finger right here, and play your A as the bass note, then you get a cool A. If you actually don't play the A, you play your E as your bass note, you get a cool E. So you can actually literally, like my fingers haven't really moved from there. Let me go. I play that B. And like my fingers travel so much less when they're kind of right here. Versus, and don't get me wrong, like this still sounds amazing, but you know, we can kind of make it a little more efficient for our fingers. We can, I don't know, exert less energy to switch chord to chord. Or my favorite is like when I would switch chords, and sometimes I like, and I kind of have to have that little gap of time to switch. Versus just like switching super fast, like I don't know. That's something cool that I like. But I guess like before we end, I want to encourage you guys to learn your different E's and your A's like right now. Your A sus4. Your A here, maybe if you know like this A, it's kind of like when you bar your F or F sharp, but then you can bring it up to the 5th fret, and that's your A. But actually if you just don't bar and you just only press down your top finger right here, you get this nice pretty A right here. It's basically, it's like I'm playing an E with my 3 fingers right here. This is really hard. I really should have made a thing. I'm playing an E, and I'm just adding my A right there on the 5th fret of the E string. And then the bottom 2 strings, my B and my E, are actually open as B and E. And you can like drag it up 2 more frets, and you get a cool B also. It's kind of like a sus4 right there as well. And yeah. And you know, don't forget about your percussive stuff in there. Add some chucks. Like we have all this empty space. Yeah, you could go crazy with it. But we have this, like, when you have that empty space, like, you have captured me today, Jesus. Like, when you have that space, you know, you can use it. Like, sure, you don't have to use it. Like, but if you have the time, and you can use that time to kind of just be creative. Play some cool things. I don't know. You know, like you can go crazy with it. And when we do go crazy with it, obviously it's not the best. Like if I were to play like you have captured me today. You don't have to like go crazy, and that's like kind of too much and distracting. But you know, when we do those things, we can kind of take little by little what sounds good. Are you Jacob Collier? No, but I'm a huge fan. If you guys haven't heard of Jacob Collier, he's insane. He does all these musical things, and he's so cool, and he's so good, and he's just so talented. But yeah, you know, like we have like when God gives us guitar, we can go crazy with it. But you know, the biggest thing is, you know, having the knowledge to know when to use this, because we can have the knowledge of how to play guitar, but if we don't know when to use these things, that's when we, you know, we can, you know, really thrive. A/C sharp is hard to play for grateful. I'm glad you said that. I like playing this A. So I'm literally holding out two things right here. So E, I just don't play the E. My A string's open, and then on the D, I'm playing the, what is that? The 7th fret, and then on the G, I'm playing the 6th fret. So if you guys want to try that out, it looks like this. Kind of sounds kind of open and pretty and flowy. And then when you play this A, you can actually take like your index finger and hold down your C sharp right here. And that's your A/C sharp. It's a little bit more of a stretch. It's like a 4 fret or 2 frets in between. But when you, yeah, it'll be a little stretchy. Like if you play it the normal way, you have to stretch your pinky, which my pinkies are weak. So I like playing this one because my index finger is pretty strong. And you can also just play, I like to play this D sometimes. It doesn't sound very great by itself, but in context. And, you know, yeah, I'm glad you said that, because that's a huge thing that's helped me too. But anyways, yeah, does anyone have anything else before we go back? When we go back, it's gonna be really cool. We're actually gonna play a song together. So I encourage you guys to, you know, we're gonna be muted, but you know, jam, go crazy, and you know, like do whatever you want, have fun. You know, we're doing this in prayer, so you know, this is all for God. So yeah, I guess if there's nothing else left, we can go back. Is there anything else? Is there anyone that can confirm that we should go back? I think we can go back soon. Cool. Yes, it is. Cool. Yeah, all we need to know for this song is just E and A. Go back to the main room. Get out of here. This was really fun. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening to me. Praise God. That was super great. See you guys in the main room.
All right. Welcome back, advanced class. I can explain all of these letters. Just yeah, but welcome. So what we're going to do to close up is just to join all together in a song, and it is this song that we just practiced, a simplified version of this song. So I'm going to share my screen. Here it is, and oh no, this one, and you can see. So if you do know that song, we did make it a little bit simpler. Oh, there we go. Oh yes, okay, there we go. We made it a little simpler, so we're just playing E A E A E A E A E A E A. And then what we'll do is because I think what's important in quarantine is just to see that, like, man, we can still jam. I think I miss in person, like playing with other people. And what I've been affirmed of in quarantine is, even though it's not fully the same, but you can still have that connection with people through music, even if it is virtual. And so we're going to have some time to jam this and also to try to pray this together, this worship song that, we're probably pretty familiar with already. So I'll play, and then I'll also pass it on to the band. So let's take a moment just to breathe in, and whatever new things that we learned about ourselves, about the instrument, about music, we just thank God for opening the eyes of our hearts and opening our eyes to the gifts that He's given us. And to whatever else that the Lord will teach us, we just ask that He would continue to get us excited to grow and to learn and to become more fully alive, especially in quarantine. In the name of the Father, Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Let's just take a moment and find that E, and then we're going to play it. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. To the A. To the E. To the A. And then if you can, try to sing along at the same time. Here we go. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. To the E. I want to see you. Now A. I want to see you. One more time. E. Open the eyes. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. A. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. Hey, I want to see you. Holy, holy, E. And holy, 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 A. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. One more time. Holy, holy. E. Holy, holy, holy. A. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. A. I want to see you. Okay, I'm gonna pass it to our advanced teacher, Emma, to keep the song going.
Back to E. Back to A. Let's sing Open the Eyes. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Open the eyes. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Holy, 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 holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Holy, 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 holy. Holy, holy, holy. Holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Let's play E. I want to see you. I want to see you. Let's play A. I want to see you. One more time, E. I want to see you.
And Lord, we just come before you, so thankful for this time with brothers and sisters, just to show us, Lord, that we can be connected through music, even in a time where we are quarantined, distant from one another, Lord, the worship still does, the music still does connect us, Lord. It's your Spirit in these prayers that allows our rooms, those separate physically, to feel connected, Lord, in your Spirit. And so we pray, Father, as we come into the rest of this conference, and as well, Lord, as we go into the rest of our lives, keep stirring in us, Lord God, a curiosity and a desire to explore the talents and the gifts you've given us. Whether it is guitar, Lord, may we not take it for granted. May we appreciate it. May we cultivate it. May we develop it. And if, Lord, you're calling us to be an artist in some other way, to express your love in some other way, then, Lord God, just open our hearts to that we wouldn't be discouraged or complacent because of everything happening around us, but that those things, Lord, an instrument and a platform, a medium, Lord God, could be a way that we can seek you, especially in times when things are difficult. Open the eyes of our heart, Lord. Let us see all of these things around us with new eyes of excitement, of wonder. This we pray in Jesus' name. Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. The Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. We just had the biggest Music Man ever. Yeah. World record. Biggest Music Man.